Hey, welcome to Broad. My name's Orlando, and yesterday Microsoft and the Xbox team announced the brand new, I'll explain why I said that in a minute, Elite Series 2 controller. It's called the Core controller. And they also announced that Elite controllers are making their way over to Design Lab. So I wanted to talk about both of these things real quick. I had a very different video in mind, but hey, I'm all for this. This is cool. So, like I said, they announced a brand new Elite Series controller. It's called the Core, like I said. So you're probably seeing the website on screen, and I mean, you know, it goes over the generic stuff, you know, seeing what it includes. You can drag it and you can look at it. Nice, fancy, built for performance, optimized for you. It's designed with apparently a 40-hour rechargeable battery, which that's really nice. I don't know if the standard Elite controller has that. I'm not sure. I would assume so. And we'll talk about this in a minute here, but I want to go over something else. So at the very bottom here, we can compare them. We can see what exactly you get in the box, brand new, with each type of controller. So with the standard Elite Series 2 controller, you get the controller, the thumbstick adjustment tool, which is this circle thing, a charging dock, the USB-C cable. I think it's braided as well, they said. 4 paddles, additional thumbsticks, additional D-pad, which is a standard one, so you can change it from this, like this thing, to a standard old D-pad if you'd like, and a carrying case. So pretty standard stuff, and that would run you $180, so a solid chunk of change. Now, for $50 less, you will lose everything but the controller, thumbstick adjustment tool, and this cable. So all of this being removed will save you $50. And I think that's where I want to mention the price point. This thing starts at $130, at least here in the US. I don't know if that's different in other regions, but here in the US, $130 directly from Microsoft. So this isn't the kind of controller that someone who already has an Elite controller would buy. You wouldn't buy this if you already have an Elite controller. This is something like if you're like me and you don't have one of these yet and you want to give it a shot, but you don't want all the oodles and oddles, you can try this. It's still pricey, $130 for a controller. That's still a little over double the price of a standard controller. It's pricey, don't get me wrong, definitely. But I think this is a better entry point to trying an Elite Series controller. Now, if you do end up later on wanting like the thumbsticks and the paddles and all that stuff, all the way at the bottom, you can find here it says even more customization, and you can get something called the Complete Component Pack, which comes with everything that was taken out of the, I guess the bundle you could call it. So everything that the Core doesn't have, you can purchase it for $60. Which means if you buy the Core controller and the Complete Component Pack, you'd be spending more money overall. You'd be spending $190 before any sort of tax. So by the end, you'd be spending about $200. Yeah, you can see at face value, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because you'd be spending more for the same thing. I mean, what? It's white. That's cool. It looks nice, don't get me wrong, but other than that, it is the exact same thing as the Elite controller we already have. So, why are they launching this? Well, it's no coincidence that right alongside it, Elite controllers coming to Design Lab were announced. Not a lot of details came in, but they were announced. So what I think is going to happen is that when Design Lab, starts, when Elite controllers start coming to Design Lab, the cores are what are going to be sold. They're going to sell you, this controller, and instead of, trying to always bundle the paddles and all that junk. You can just buy one set, and then you can buy as many Elite controllers as you want. Now, who needs that many? I'm not sure. I mean, speaking of needing that many, I know that the Elite controllers have a problem with like condition and durability, where sometimes like there's stick drift, or the grips might just like stop being great. They might come off the controller and all that. People have reported issues, and in the Xbox blog, it is stated that they want to work on increasing the durability, which is both good and a little worrying. If you're spending $130 on one of these, or upwards of $180, you want it to last for a while. And people have talked about how there is, stick drift, and I'm like, lovely. We love stick drift. So, if you're wondering, yes, I did pre-order this because I don't have an Elite controller, and I wanted to just see, what you get. Nothing crazy. It is essentially an Elite controller. That's what it is, just with all the accessories, with all the goodies. And for me personally, I don't mind, because I don't need the changeable D-pad and all that stuff. So I think for people like me who just want a nicer controller, you can have that. You just get the core. You don't have to spend all the money and get like the paddles and sticks. If you want that, you spend the $60. But like I said, I think as far as this being announced, it's because Design Lab is going to be selling these. So they're not going to be selling the whole carrying case and everything with every single controller. It's just going to be the Elite Series controller, well, Series 2 I should say, with different colors. That's what it looked like in the trailer. Which is cool. I think that Elite controllers should have been Design Lab a while ago. I'm glad they're here now at least. So I'm pretty excited about that. It looks cool. We don't know much about the price point for Design Lab at the moment. It's kind of just like a, hey, we're announcing it, but no details right now. I'll assume it'll probably cost like $10 more, kind of like what the standard Design Lab costs. A standard controller run you $60. Design Lab is like $70, I think. And this will be $130 for standard core controller, $140, for a Design Lab controller, which that'd be neat. I'll mess around with it. I probably won't get a Design Lab controller, but I'll mess around with it once it comes out, and of course I'll have more details about it. So if you guys want to stay updated with that, make sure you subscribe. But honestly, that's about it really. There's not too much to say with, in regards to what it is. It's an Elite controller, but just with less stuff. So I am going to make a video when I get it, and apparently it's supposed to release on September 21st. So as soon as I get my hands on it, we'll do an unboxing and all that stuff. And then, my plan is about a week in, I want to just, use the controller for a while and give you guys my general thoughts. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool release, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to sound like it's like, oh yeah, it's neat, I like this, I think it's cool. A lot of people on Twitter kind of had this reception of, hey, it's cool, but what about this thing? And I'm like, I don't think they're going that far with it. Some people mentioned like haptic feedback, and I'm like, no, I think this is literally just trying to be the template for what Design Lab is gonna have. I'm telling you, I'm really confident in this. Core controllers are what are going to be sold on Design Lab. But let me know your guys' thoughts. What do you think of the controller? What do you think of the price? Me personally, controller seems cool. Price, in the long run, sure, if you look at it purely face value, you're spending more money. But who knows? Maybe Design Lab will come around and just blow people away with how good it is. Who knows? But with that being said, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.